Hello and welcome to our session. My name is Gustavo Kunst, and together with my colleague Matthias Biegert, we will present you how with new scenario in the readiness check application, and also what services SAP offers to support the transition from Solution Manager to SAP Cloud ALM. I'm pretty sure that many of you are familiar with the readiness check. It's a tool that has been there for quite a while already. It provides insights to support, just to name a few, the transition to S/4HANA or BW for HANA, for example. But we did our homework, and we will include and bring a completely new scenario into the tool that has been tailored and also designed to support the transition to SAP Cloud ALM. With this new scenario, we aim to provide answers to some of typical questions that may come up during a transition project. For example, which capabilities are currently being used in your solution manager system? We provide a collector and we scan your solution manager system, and we show you which of these capabilities are currently being used. What are the equivalent capabilities that are available in SAP Cloud ALM? So we always refer here to equivalent capabilities because, as we know, SAP Cloud ALM is not a successor product, but at the end aims to fulfill the same ALM processes. So we provide a mapping, and next to this mapping, we also provide additional information. For example, what is the delivery status? Is this capability already available? Is this planned? Because many or some capabilities might not be currently available. Some might be, for example, white spots or offered by other SAP product. So for each of these capabilities, we show this information. And we also make sure that we keep up to date all this information so you can always get the latest state of the planning. And another question may be where to find all necessary information for these capabilities. We know in SAP we have a lot of sources of information, so we make sure that we can consolidate all of this, and next to each SAP Cloud ALM capability, we will offer a lot of information by giving you the links to get all of it. Also, what are other capabilities that SAP Cloud ALM brings? Because we know SAP Cloud ALM comes with new features and also supports additional SAP products. So we will also show this information and give you these insights. Now, how we present all this information? Well, we have 3 levels of information that we will show in this new scenario. First is the usage of your solution manager system by providing a collector and scanning the different capabilities, usage, and also the data in your system. We will show you and provide you with the information of what are you exactly and currently using. And by refining or selecting which of these capabilities are relevant for you, you can then create or refine the scope of your transition to SAP Cloud ALM. Also, we provide a mapping, as I said, for each of these SAP Solution Manager capabilities. What is the equivalent capability in SAP Cloud ALM, and which capabilities comes on top. So with all this information, we want to empower you and give you the necessary insights so you can plan your transition scope. And additionally, and next to each of these capabilities, we will provide different levels of information. For instance, and not limited to the list we see here, the description of the Cloud ALM capability, the scope, and also the comparison between SAP Solution Manager and SAP Cloud ALM that includes, will include, for example, what Ben mentioned in the morning, this planned transition portal. We will also link the SAP readiness check to this new portal. We also have what we internally call friends of ALM, because some capabilities might not be directly available in Cloud ALM, but there are other SAP products that are available and covers this capability that is offered in SAP Solution Manager. We give you that information. Which services are also provided by SAP. It's there, and migration concepts or migration tools, when they become available, you will also get that information there. And as I said, we always make sure that we keep all this information up to date. Now, let me show you how it looks like. This is it's written here, a lab preview. Disclaimer, of course, is that it's with dummy data. Please do not rely on the data. This keeps changing continuously, so that's important to know. Here we are. When we create a new analysis for SAP Cloud ALM in the readiness check, our first step will be to provide the file that has been created by the collector that needs to run in your solution manager system. And with this information, you will be taken to the first and main dashboard screen that summarizes all the information that I have just mentioned. And for each of these dashboard cards, we can navigate and go into a details page. Let's go, for example, to the details page of the usage of the different solution manager capabilities. Here, we can see that organized by area, scenario, and capabilities, we can easily see what has been identified in your system, if it's used or not used. Also, there is this switch that indicates if this capability in SAP Solution Manager is relevant for your transition project. By default, we will provide this switch with a value in yes for all the capabilities that has been identified as used, but you can manually override this switch to manually include some capability that is not currently being used, but you would like to have implemented in SAP Cloud ALM, or the other way around, there is a capability that is currently being used, but it's planned to be decommissioned or it's not in the scope of your transition in SAP Cloud ALM. Then, with a list of all these selected relevant capabilities, we can access the other details of the analysis, which is the list and the mapping that we provide for each of these capabilities in Solman or in SAP Solution Manager to SAP Cloud ALM. And here we have 5 categories that we will show next to each capability. Is this capability already available in SAP Cloud ALM, or is provided by or covered by other SAP product? Or is this capability planned in and already described in the roadmap of SAP Cloud ALM? You probably know the Roadmap Explorer application, where the next new features are described there. So if it's planned in the roadmap, we will also indicate this in the result of the analysis. If it's not yet in the roadmap, but it's part of the vision of the product, we also have this category, so you know that this capability is coming. And the last capability is only available in SAP Solution Manager. And this means that this capability is not planned in the near and at least midterm. Probably it's also a white space in SAP Cloud ALM, and that's the category that it will get assigned. But as you know, SAP Cloud ALM supports the extensions. If there are partner solutions that provides equivalent functionality and extends SAP Cloud ALM, we have the possibility also to make this noted here, that there is an extension available for this capability. And depending on the area, here we see that we have operations and implementations. We show different level of information. In the case of operations, we not only provide the capability and the mapping, what is the name of the capability in SAP Cloud ALM, but also the level of coverage that we have for the different solution types, cloud, on-premise ABAP, and on-premise not ABAP, for both Solution Manager and SAP Cloud ALM. In the case of operations, we also provide the mapping of the category and also what is the name of the corresponding equivalent capability in SAP Cloud ALM. But this is not it. If we click and we access on a certain capability, we will see this right side panel where we will show all the information next to each of these capabilities. Details, additional resources that will consolidate here, different assets that we have published, for instance, blogs or some other helpful information like migration paths and so on. This is expected to be here. We have this third-party extension section when a partner solution exists and is published in the SAP store. We provide a link to navigate to it, and also which SAP services and offerings are available for the implementation or the transition to this capability, or in general, the complete scenario or area of SAP Cloud ALM. But this is starting from the view of the SAP Solution Manager capabilities. But we know that SAP Cloud ALM also brings new features, and that's why there is this third detail page where we list here and also organize by the different areas that we include in the analysis, and depending on the area, we show, again, different level of information. In the case of implementation here, we not only list the complete list of features that SAP Cloud ALM has, but also include the information of what of these capabilities offers solution-specific content, and also provide the mapping or the information based on the analysis and the collection that has been made in your system, if this capability is currently being used or not used in your system. only for those that an equivalent capability or equivalent mapping exists. Of course, we have some capabilities that will be part of the category that are only available in SAP Cloud ALM. In the case of operations, here we need to also complement the capability of SAP Cloud ALM to the supported solutions. So in this case, we will also show next to the capability item in SAP Cloud ALM what is the supported solution in SAP Cloud ALM. And based on this, again, if this combination of capability and solution is used or not used in your system, or if it's only available in SAP Cloud ALM. Same as in the previous detail page of the analysis, we can get more information and also links to helpful resources by clicking on the different items in the list. Currently, we are focusing and we are planning to release the scenario early next year that will include all the implementation and operation scenarios and capabilities. But this is not the end. We also plan to extend next year to include the remaining capabilities of SAP Solution Manager. That includes the service capabilities plus those capabilities that are usually executed in an SAP Solution Manager as well. Let me now wrap it up by telling you how is the process to get from your SAP Solution Manager system to the result of the analysis that I have just shown. Same as the other readiness check scenarios, we start by scanning our source system. In this case, is our SAP Solution Manager system. For this, we provide a note, and also this will come with the next STPI support package, but can also be implemented via a node, a collector that will read your system and provide an output file that will include the usage information and additional KPIs that we also extract from your system. And with this output file, you would just need to go to the SAP application of the readiness check, which is accessible for all SAP customers. You just need an S user. You start creating this analysis. You provide this input file, and based on the input file, automatically the application will detect that this is a scenario for SAP Cloud ALM, and then you will reach the main dashboard page I have just shown. You can explore the results, as we saw, and you also have the chance to manually influence these results by selecting and refining which of these capabilities are relevant in your scope. We will also provide the possibility to generate a document that you can download, and also will give you the chance to get a static view of the analysis at the moment it was generated, because we will continuously keep the data up to date, so you can always get the latest state of the released capabilities in the tool. And of course, at the end, you can use these insights and input to, first of all, plan and then scope your transition, if it's completely or based on capabilities. This is also possible using the information that this new scenario will we provide. As I said, it's coming during the early or beginning of next year. We are also considering a pilot testing, so if we have some interested here in the room, please talk to me after the session in the MIDI expert table. And yeah, with that, I would like now to hand it over to Matthias, who will tell you the services that we offer.
So, good afternoon. My name is Matthias Biegert, and I would like to talk about the SAP support services which are available or planned for SAP Cloud ALM. In the beginning, I would like to talk what is the status quo, so what is available today. And then, in the course of the session, we also come to our planning for the near future and the midterm future. So first of all, there are services to understand, implement, and use Cloud ALM. Those services are available, and I will come to more details in 1 or 2 slides here. Furthermore, there are services which support you in the transition planning to Cloud ALM. And that is basically the offering Gustavo has just mentioned. That's basically the readiness check for Cloud ALM, which is a self-service which helps you to plan and scope your transition to Cloud ALM. And then the last piece, which is not yet available, that are services which support you in doing the selective data transfer. If you have listened to Axel this morning or also to Sinye yesterday, also the product is not really ready to consume data from Cloud ALM, but that is definitely something we have to offer to support you as our customers in doing that selective data transfer. Now, let's come to the services which are available today and which help you in understand, implement, and use Cloud ALM. All of those services are somehow accessible from the enterprise support value maps. Not sure if you know about that. The value map is a kind of guide which guides you to all services, to all offerings which are available for enterprise support customers in understanding and implementing Cloud ALM. And it's regardless if this is now an EGI, if this is a best practice, if this is a Meet the Expert, if this is a webinar, everything is available from the enterprise support value maps. Those value maps are nothing new. There are value maps for SAP Solution Manager, and there is now also since, I think, 2 years, also a value map for SAP Cloud ALM. The value map itself is structured into so-called learning journeys. There are 5 of them, or even 6. One is a learning journey into an introduction into Cloud ALM. There's a learning journey for the implementation and operations piece. Furthermore, there's a learning journey using Cloud ALM for success factors. And there are actually 2 learning journeys for business process monitoring with SAP Cloud ALM. What is also important here that if you are using the value map, there's also a possibility to connect to experts at SAP in case you have questions or queries regarding Cloud ALM. So you can use that possibility in the value map. Now I would like to come to 2, let's say, main services which are accessible from the value map. The first one is a mission in the SAP Discovery Center. The mission is a kind of a new offering which we are using in ALM. The missions are coming from our colleagues from the BTP. So basically we are offering one main vision, which is called onboarding and first steps with SAP Cloud ALM. And the mission is a kind of a guided tour which helps you in achieving that goal. You see it on the screenshot how it looks like. That's basically I think it's called project board or storyboard, which is a best practice and step-by-step guide which helps you in getting onboarded to SAP Cloud ALM and also to do the first setup steps or all necessary setup steps there. We consider that as a digital self-service which you can consume every time you want or anytime you want. And also here there is a possibility to connect to experts at SAP in case you have issues or questions. Also important to know is that the missions are available for each and every SAP customer. So regardless of which support contract you might have, the mission in the Discovery Center is available. Now I said that we have only one mission. That is not really true. There were recently published 2 more missions. There is one mission about the integration of SAP Analytics Cloud with SAP Cloud ALM. That means this mission describes how you can connect the Analytics Cloud to Cloud ALM, how you can get data out of it, and how you can finally also create a story in the Analytics Cloud based on data you get from Cloud ALM. And then just recently, there was a 3rd mission published. That's a mission First Steps. Is it called First Steps? No, it's called Getting Started with SAP Cloud ALM for Operations. That's the same principle, but now concentrating on the operations part of Cloud ALM. Then a service or a service format which is probably well known to you, that's the expert guided implementation, or in short it's called EGI. That's we call it one-to-many service. There's one instructor who is doing a kind of theory in the morning, and then in the afternoon each customer has time to execute the same steps on their system. And of course, if there are issues or questions, each customer is able to reach out to the instructor for more support. This EGI, it's called All You Need to Know About SAP Cloud ALM, is a 5 days EGI, so it really runs the full week, but it covers all topics of SAP Cloud ALM, meaning the onboarding, the setup, connectivity to any cloud services, operations, implementation, and also the service part of Cloud ALM. All of that is covered in the EGI. The EGI has started in, I think it was April this year, and so far it was executed 12 times, so it's executed quite frequently. But you have to look on the pages when the EGI is offered in your time zone with your preferred language, and you have to book it. Then let's come to premium engagements. Premium engagement are also considered as a kind of support offering because it was coming from the support organization. With premium engagements, I mean SAP Max Attention and SAP Active Attention. We have ALM embedded in a lot of PE services. And the good news is that nearly all of those services have also adopted Cloud ALM in their service offering. So the service offering is basically available if a customer uses SAP Solution Manager, but also if a customer is using Cloud ALM as an ALM tool. Nevertheless, I would like to highlight three three services which are, let's say, pretty important. One is the SAP Operations Starter Pack, and that's basically a service which enables you to, or which supports you in setting up SAP Cloud ALM, connecting all the systems which should be connected, and also provides an empowering and knowledge transfer in order to use SAP Cloud ALM for operations. I have to say those services are one-to-one services. So as a customer, a service team or a colleague from SAP is coming to you or remotely and only concentrating on one customer. Then for the implementation part, we have a service which is called Agile Methodology in Tool Coach. That's basically a service which has started with Focus Build, but since 3 months or 4 months, there's also a version available for SAP Cloud ALM. So if you are as a customer in a situation, I want to use SAP Cloud ALM as an implementation methodology for a S4HANA project or a SuccessFactors project, then this is the right service to book, and the service will help you to use the tool adequately for such an implementation project. The last service, the last PE service I would like to mention, that's the ALM Roadmap service, which is basically a kind of planning service. So how does SAP ALM fit into your ALM landscape? A kind of roadmap service for that. If you are a max attention or an active attention customer, please reach out to your technical quality manager, and he or she will help you to get this service booked, maybe scoped, and then finally executed. What I haven't mentioned here, there are more services out there. There are preferred success services, but there are also professional services coming from our colleagues from SAP Consulting. I haven't listed them here because they are not, let's say, support services, but a list of those services is available on the homepage of SAP Cloud ALM in the support portal. Now, what is the outlook? Where do we want to go? If we go back to the categories I mentioned in the beginning, so services which help to understand, implement, and use SAP Cloud ALM, we would like to further develop that portfolio. So the services which I've mentioned here, the mission, the 3 missions, the EGI, won't be the last services. Actually, the colleagues are working on releasing a 4th mission for implementation, getting started with SAP Cloud ALM for implementation, I think rather soon. We are also considering releasing more EGIs if we feel that is helpful for you as our customers. And we also would like to target more services which are focusing on one SAP product. SuccessFactors BTP, so how to manage SuccessFactors with Cloud ALM or how to manage BTP with Cloud ALM, etc. So that's the direction we want to go there. Regarding the services which help you and plan the transition to Cloud ALM, Gustavo has mentioned that we are doing pilots for the readiness check the rest of the year, basically. And we want to release the readiness check for all of our customers in Q1 next year. But of course, there will be feedback, there will be requests of you to add more functionality or to consider more functionality to be detected in SAP Solution Manager. So we anticipate that feedback, and we are also planning to get the readiness check then released. We also feel that there is a need to provide a bit a project methodology or best practice in how to do such a transition. How that looks like in detail, we don't know yet. It could be a best practice document. It could be a roadmap similar to the Activate roadmaps or the let's say, the system conversion roadmap of S/4HANA. It could be also a template project plan. Let's see, but that is definitely something we would like to provide, and where we are sure that also you as a customer hopefully appreciate that, also as a partner. And then last but not least, the selective data transfer. Once the APIs are there, once also the functionality in Cloud ALM is there, meaning, for example, that documentation can be stored there, there must be a service offering for enterprise support customers. Also here, if this is an EGI, a best practice, if there is some tooling behind that, we don't know yet, but that is definitely something which is on our roadmap to support you here in also doing that selective data transfer. So with that, that was the last slide. What I would want to mention is I've concentrated here on services. There is more material available. Look at the support portal page. I also haven't talked about the Open SAP trainings. There are actually 3 Open SAP trainings. There was also kind of, I think it was called Cloud ALM in a nutshell. Then there was one for operations and implementation. And also here the colleagues are planning to release updates of those trainings, probably to the end of next year, once Signavio is integrated, once the integration with Tricentis is available, to also put that in the Open SAP trainings. With that, I'm at the end of the session. Thank you. Please don't forget to rate the session if you want to. And with that, I think we can open for questions if you have any.
Thanks very much, Matthias and Gustavo. Any questions in the room? As we are ahead of time, we do have some time for questions. Everyone's already exhausted.
Either it was boring or...
Oh, there's one question. Perfect.
Hi, so I have a question regarding to the readiness check. So you are analyzing the SU's system as a status quo, right? What about people planning their tactical roadmap to offer in the next years new features of the existing solution to solution manager? For example, CHARM, or in the test suite, for example, the BPCA. So how to consider that? How can I check? I would like to roll out BPCA in the next step, but no, in the ALM strategy is maybe not consistent. So how is not yet implemented, rolled out, planning considered in your check?
Yeah, that's why we have included this relevant switch. If it's currently being used, it will come or it will get this relevant switch to yes and automatically be included in the mapping and all the information that is shown. But if there is a feature that it's not used, but you would like to still have it included, you can change the switch here to yes manually, and this will treat it as a used capability. Well, not used capability because it will still be unused, but it will be included in the mapping and all the information will be there.